Hey everybody, welcome to a Wednesday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. I'm here with the comedians known as Talent and comedians known as Fig. And of course, if you guys aren't familiar, these guys have been around in the comedy business for a long time. They've been in comedy films, comedy commercials, comedy shows, comedy stand-up performances, comedy TV shows. Now, they've been everything related to comedy except today, and have been for the last couple of months, they're in a comedy sports show. We talk sports. So with that being said, how y'all doing today? Probably better than me.
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. I was like, yo, man, don't start the show off coughing.
Not with COVID.
Not before the COVID segment. I'm like, what in the world is going on, Frank?
He taking his COVID report too serious.
And now for the COVID report.
Well, speaking of COVID report, you know, we gotta always have a COVID report. And should I do another call for this one, or should I just go? Let me just go in. Just found out that the Cincinnati Temple game got canceled. You know, the amazing thing about that part is that both schools had players test positive before they even got a chance to match up today, or players on both sides, and over 100 players and on both schools' teams, you know, affiliated with the football team, tested positive. So that game got canceled. And that's a pretty big game. That's one of them games they look to match up every single year. So that game got canceled. And right now it's not rescheduled. There's a Browns player from the Cleveland Browns who tested positive. And now there's also several players out for Baltimore, 5 players out and 4 staff. And it just found out actually about 2 minutes ago, the Baltimore Ravens Pittsburgh Steelers game that was scheduled for tomorrow just officially got moved to Sunday. So normally how we normally get 3 games on football Sunday, now we're going to get 2. So
wow,
yeah, that's.
Oh man, they messing up my Thanksgiving, man.
Yeah, now what's going to probably happen is I don't know what time that they're going to now, if they're going to reschedule a certain games and if it's going to move some of those games. But the Pittsburgh game and Baltimore Ravens game was supposed to be the afternoon big game. So
yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, that's the big game. So it looks like they're going to probably move around the other times of the other games. We'll see how as this day rolls out what they're going to officially do with that. But getting ready to start off with the news, and I'm sure you guys have seen probably this morning. Soccer legend Diego Maradona died of a heart attack at the age of 60. Some people have said he's been the best soccer player in the world. Now, I don't follow soccer that intently, but I would have to say that one of the best soccer players of the world passing away is affecting a lot of people around the world. Talon, what would you think about when you hear that? It's like Michael Jordan passing away.
Yeah, that's especially in that sport. I mean, we have to be realists when we talk about soccer, aka football. Football is so international, such a big sport. On the world stage is bigger than all sports.
Right.
So when you talk about the elite players, that's a shakeup right there.
Yeah,
you're right. That's like Michael Jordan level, Magic Johnson, Bird. Like that's the cream of their crop. So look for that to dominate a lot of sports news, you know, including us. Like I feel for that. I mean, me being American, you know, we grew up on Pele and him being one of the greatest, you know, I'm not familiar, you know, at the intensity level of this player, but I know that by being an elite player in such a big sport, it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that. Fig, when you hear that one of the best soccer players and arguably the best soccer player in the world passed away from a heart attack at only the age of 60, you know, I think that would send shockwaves around the world also. What's your thought process when you hear about that?
Yeah, man, again, you know, like you guys, man, it is shocking because, you know, when you think of soccer players, you think about an athlete who's probably one of the best conditioned athletes in the world. You know what I mean? That is shocking at such a young age. Soccer players, you think they run more than somebody who actually participates in track. Right. Because they are all out running like all day long, you know what I mean, playing soccer. And like Talent said, soccer is probably the biggest sport,
Yeah.
globally, period.
Mhm.
Hands down, every country, participates in soccer, or what they call it is football. We call it soccer here in America, but it's got to be, it's got to be big, man. Like here in America, like you said, that would be like, somebody like Tom Brady in football, Michael Jordan in basketball. Like losing, it's probably the same effect globally as like us losing Kobe.
Yeah, probably. The funny thing is, when you grow up in the States, you don't realize how huge soccer is. But if you step outside of the States, if you go to Mexico or you happen to land in Europe or something like that, you realize that basketball, baseball, football is really huge where we are, but soccer is to a whole nother level. I mean,
It's a whole other, and listen, let me tell you something. If you're a soccer player,
yeah,
you better not lose no games, because
yeah,
people show up at the soccer players have gotten murdered for
yeah,
losing games. That's how
yeah,
serious they take their soccer in other countries. So
yeah,
it is big,
yeah.
really big.
Now speaking of football, I saw this morning about 4 or 5 times, and I was listening to sports talk radio this morning. They kept playing on a loop, what Bruce Arians was saying about Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Now, Tom Brady came from, as we all know, Tom Brady came from a New England organization where the coach that keeps everything in house. He doesn't say what's happening. We win as a team, we lose as a team, and that's just how we go down. Now, Bruce Arians came out this morning and said that he blamed a lot on Brady. He said Brady overthrew some passes and everything else. He didn't see his reads. When he said he didn't see his reads, I literally almost wanted to jump through the TV screen and say, "What do you mean he didn't see his reads? Tom Brady saw his reads before you saw his reads. I don't know what you're talking about." But Bruce Arians said that, and I could be wrong, but I'm going to ask you this question: do you blame a lot of that stuff that happened on the game during the game on Brady, or do you blame it on the coach? And is Bruce Arians right in saying that Tom Brady was the one who was wrong and the one who didn't see his reads and overthrew the ball, and it was basically his fault? He really threw Tom Brady under the bus. Talent, what you think?
Well, I mean, he said what I said yesterday, Frank. I mean, I said it yesterday. In a guessing standpoint, I was like, well, that's because you said, hey, I'm going to put it on him. I said, well, we can't put it on him because I just refuse to believe a man of Tom Brady's stature and veteranship and the power he has in the game. I put him right next to when Peyton Manning played. When Peyton Manning played, he checked a lot of that stuff. Even if you came up with a play, if he looked out there and was like, nah, that's not good right now, he had the end all say, in other words. That's where I put Brady at. So I think that if those plays were just badly called one after the other, at some point he would have checked it. So I can't give all the blame, to the coach. I got to put some on Brady. They got to share that.
Okay, but they do have to share it. But Bruce Arians was throwing him under the bus. Now, Fig, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna throw it now to you and just say, add one caveat. Let's have that be the word for the day. Add one caveat. The Bucs are playing the Chiefs this week. The Bucs are already a wild card team. They're right now. If they lose one more game, they fall out of the wild card team until one of the players in the hunt for the playoffs. Now, when you hear that and you hear Bruce Arians, saying what he says, what's your thoughts when you hear all of that, knowing that the Bucs are not getting ready to play the Chiefs this week?
I think that Bruce Arians is putting more pressure on Tom than Giselle. You're putting all this pressure on Tom. Man, let me tell you what's wrong with Tom Brady. It's the same thing that's happened to him his entire career. If you're able to get pressure on Tom Brady, knock him down a couple times, hit him, you can rattle Tom Brady. That's been his MO since I can remember. And what they did last week, they were able to rush him. They were able to hit him. They were able to crowd him in the pocket. And they say he gets happy feet and he starts dancing around trying to get rid of the ball before he gets hit again. At 43 years old, I'm not blaming the man, but I think that's probably what happened to him, man. When a younger dude that's twice your size hits you at full speed, I can see you being rushed a little bit. It happens to young quarterbacks too. But at an older age, I can see that happening. Tom Brady was off a little bit. I don't agree with Bruce Arians throwing him under the bus. I think Bruce Arians is like, yo, if we lose, with Tom Brady and all these weapons, my job is on the line. So I think he's doing a little damage control too.
All right. Talon, do you think that what Bruce Arians said sits well in the locker room?
I don't see why not. I think players, even though they're playing with Tom Brady, who's arguably the best quarterback in the game, I think that players need a sense of humanity as well. I think they need to level things out in their mindset. If I'm going to go play with it, I need to understand that my quarterback's human. He needs me to do my job. Like if I'm an offensive lineman, think about this. If I'm an offensive lineman for one of the best in the game, I could easily just become a fan and do less of my job as opposed to going all out to protect this dude. Like Fig said, if you can get to him and rattle him, we've seen that Tom Brady. And if everyone's not doing their job, then you're going to see people get at him and get him rattled. I think if you bring it to a human level where everybody's like, okay, we thought we was coming in here signing on with Brady, going to walk into the championship. No, we got to work. We got to work. He's human. He need us to protect him. He need blockers. He need all these things. In other words, we got to show up and all do our job and stop just thinking because we have this name, Tom Brady, we're going to the dance. No, it's a football version of the Clippers.
Good point.
Don't get together and think we got these names together. We got the dance because that's what the Clippers did. Take a page of learning from their book and know that you still got to do the due diligence and do the work.
You know, that's a good point because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Fig, they have Antonio Brown. They got Leonard Fournette. They got Mike Evans. They got Rob Gronkowski. I know I'm missing somebody. Oh, they got Shady McCoy. You know what I mean? They got a really good roster team on the offensive line. And I didn't even mention the defensive side of the ball. You know what I mean? Because on the defense side of the ball, they got some great stellar guys too. But again, the question is, do you think all this sits well with what he's doing with all those veterans in the locker room sitting around hearing what their coach said about the quarterback?
Yeah.
Two things. One, none of the players that you named play the offensive line. They ain't blocking for Tom Brady. None of those guys is blocking.
Actually, Rob Gronkowski is. Rob Gronkowski does block. He's a tackle. He does block, but he's not the offensive lineman.
I think they use at his age. I think they use him a little sparingly. You know.
Yeah.
So but I get it. But I think you could take a page out of a San Antonio Popovich book. Is that when Pop had Tim Duncan, if he yelled at Tim Duncan, then all of the rest of the players sort of felt like, okay, if Tim Duncan is going to take it, and if he's going to yell at Tim Duncan, then we ain't got nothing to say if he goes off on us. Yeah. So like Talon said, I think criticizing Tom Brady, who's arguably the best player on the team, makes everybody else sort of step in line and be like, yo, we better get our stuff together or we're going to be on the front page on Monday morning.
Well, Fig, I want to say this to you. Bill Belichick used to do the same thing to Tom Brady, except he did it in-house. You didn't hear about it in-house. Now, for Bruce Arians, this is the reason why I asked the question to both of you all. Bruce Arians is doing that, basically shellacking to these dudes in public. Now, I don't know about how things go down in Tampa Bay, but I'm going to sit there and say that if I'm a veteran and I'm in the game and I'm sitting there saying, like, I better ball out because he ain't going to just, berate me in private. He going to tell the whole world that, I ain't do my job also. I guess that's the problem that's sitting wrong with me. I don't know, Talent, that's not rubbing you the wrong way. Maybe because I'm a New England Patriots fan and I'm used to hearing this from one way. For me to see it another way, it's almost like, oh my God, like, you know what I mean? Like vampire stuff. Like I can't even believe
it. A real man's gonna respect how he did that. I think even in public, bro, that's what real men do. Like everything behind closed doors doesn't have the same effectiveness. Like Nick said.
But Talent, remember when that same thing happened to Antonio Brown in Pittsburgh? But when Mike Tomlin did that to him, that imploded the team. You know what I mean? That's why.
But Frank, you got to make up your mind. Are you taking a job to be the coach, or is the star player the coach? Because that's the problem. Is it a players' league or a coaches' league? Now, on one end of the argument, Frank, You said coach. I said player. Now here we are getting reprimanded.
I still say coach.
And you talking implosion. Here's my thing. The coach has a job, man. He has to earn. He got to earn the respect of these other grown ass men. And what he did, put it on Front Street, is a lot of them dudes, like Big said, are gonna say, "Yo, they gotta respect that." If he scream on him, if he put it on Front Street, I gotta get my shit together. I gotta do what I gotta do because I don't want to be that next billboard. You understand what I'm saying? I respect it actually because I'm old school and I've always been against the player running things. We have these jobs and protocol for a reason. Why am I showing up as the coach if Brady's going to call all the shots? Why am I the GM if he's going to pick the team? You know what I mean? Why do I own a team if I can't get a seat or owner's box? Everybody got things that go with their jobs and their positions. This guy's exercising that and trying to put the foot down right now, which is smart to me because pay attention to the timing of this. He didn't do this a loss or two ago. He did this at this important loss because he's trying to rile his team up and get them in the mental state of we can't lose no more. We wild card.
I can't disagree with everything you just said. My only problem I would have, Fig, is it being done in public. That's all I'm saying.
But you know what? Here's the thing. Maybe you're taking it personally because it's Tom Brady, but have you ever thought about this? This has been Bruce Arians' MO since he's been coaching. Bruce Arians has always done this. The only reason that people are talking about it now is because he's doing it to Tom Brady. This is what he does. Bruce Arians has always been a talker. You know what I mean? He's always put stuff out there. When the media asks him questions, he's not going to hold back. He's going to give it to you the way that he sees it. And look, they call it straight no chaser. Exactly. Am I right, Tom? That's straight no chaser. That's the way Bruce Arians always
tough love. Let me give you an analogy. It says straight no chaser or tough love. Let me give you an analogy. It reminds me of my oldest son, when I was raising my oldest son, how this boy went through life with only 3 or 4 ass whoopings. You know how? Because I could whoop his ass behind closed door and he'd do the same thing again. But when I whooped him around his family, like his cousins or his friends, the embarrassment level, he never got whooping for that same thing ever twice in his life. This is what he's doing. By me putting it on Front Street, it's a little more embarrassing than me saying it behind closed doors. I think you get different results when you make other people watch.
I can't even disagree with anything you just said. Like that's a great point because being embarrassed in public is a whole different, that's a whole different thing. But let's talk about the NBA now.
The NBA?
Something jumped off my desk this morning that I know both of you all are going to like, especially actually more Rodney Perry Lakers fans are going to probably like this more than anything. The Lakers right now are looking to add Derrick Rose via trade, and they are offering a couple of small pieces to see if they get Derrick Rose to be added to their team. So, Talon, I'm going to ask you this, man. Do you think Derrick Rose comes in there and he already look, the Lakers already got stronger already. You know what I mean? Like you can't say they didn't get stronger. By adding Derrick Rose, I think they're trying to add that other veteran piece that they had like Rajon Rondo. But I don't know if necessarily the playing style that Derrick Rose has. I'm not sure. Like we were talking about, you can get all these great players, doesn't mean it necessarily fit. I'm not sure if Derrick Rose's style fits with what the Lakers are already doing and trying to do when they bring up the ball and move the ball around, because Derrick Rose is not that kind of guy who moves the ball around. You know what I mean? But what's your thought process when you hear Derrick Rose could possibly land up on the Lakers in the next week and a half?
I like it. I think it's good. It's good for Derrick Rose. I think the Lakers got enough firepower that him coming doesn't hurt it. You know what I mean? It just adds to it. I think what they're thinking of right now is their mindset is going to I think what they learned in the bubble is when they got past the first 5 players and it was time to sub out, what do we have? When we have to sit down or send that second unit in there, can we, if we're up 10, can we maintain 8 or 10 point lead? You know, while LeBron and AD gets a little breather or whatever the case may be. I think they're looking to that now because you got fresh, younger legs in Schroeder, right? Now you bring a D Rose in there, like you said, probably for some veteran mentorship as well as somebody that can hold that fort down when those bigs got to come out and take a break. So I like it. It's a good look for D Rose, exactly. You know, because if they're the favorites to get a chip, and who wouldn't want to see D Rose get a chip?
Yeah, I can't knock that at all. I mean, D Rose getting a chip is possibly good, but again, like I said, Fig, it's whether or not he's going to fit with that necessarily with that team. Now, I can't say whether he will or he won't. You know what I mean? You never know. Players do change their style when they get into a team. You know what I mean? If they have to just add a little small piece, they do that. But when you hear Derrick Rose adding to the Lakers, what's the first thought that comes across your mind, Fig?
What they're going to do with Schroeder, because they can't play together because LeBron has the ball. So one of those cats is going to have to come off the bench. And can you convince one of them to come off the bench? Do you convince a Derrick Rose to come off the bench and possibly go for sixth man of the year? You know what I mean? Or who's coming off bench? Is it going to be Schroeder or is it going to be Rose? I think Rose would be better to come off the bench if they could convince him to do that and be like a Andre Iguodala was in Golden State. Then he could possibly come in, staying healthy, be really effective, get that six-man award if they win. I like Derrick Rose, man. I always did. He's not a three-point shooter, so I don't see him playing good on the court with LeBron. I don't see him being able to do that. But as a slasher, running the second team, coming off the bench, six man, Derrick Rose. Nice little addition.
All right. Golden State lost out on the Bogdanovich of sweepstakes. They lost out to the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks ended up landing him. And, of course, the Sacramento Kings couldn't match the offer because he was a restricted free agent. Sacramento had to match the offer for any team. Atlanta outbid everybody for Bogdanovich. Now, Atlanta obviously getting this cat. I don't know if it's going to make Atlanta better. I don't know if it's going to make them worse. I necessarily, I think it's just a lateral move for this dude. When you hear Bogdan lands in Atlanta Hawks, man, what's your first thoughts?
Again, Atlanta is the mystery team of the league right now. A couple of seasons ago, we've seen them make a run, and everybody was looking like, who the hell is on Atlanta? But they were winning. You know what I mean? So then last season, not so much, a little less down. So I think they're looking for some more, producing points and getting back into that playoff swing. I think they're not done. I think we're going to see one more big move by Atlanta, and then they're going to be back in the swing of things. So it's a good look for Atlanta. You know what I mean? And put your money where your mouth is. They did.
Right. Now, Fig, I would say this. I think Bogdan has got to be really disappointed because he wasn't an unrestricted free agent. He had to go whichever team matched the offer. So I think personally he wanted to land on Golden State because Golden State outbid everybody until Atlanta came in there and, obviously said, hey, okay, well, we could do this because he's, being a restricted free agent, it's still up to the teams. It's not up to you. You know what I mean? So I think he's very disappointed because Bogdan if he had landed on Golden State Warriors, that one piece right there, I think they could have got that chip if they had landed Bogdan. You know what I mean? I don't think they would have missed the beat. But they got that's why they play the games. Anyway, what's your thought process when you hear that?
They trying to make a splash in Atlanta. You know what I mean? They're not relevant. Getting a player like Bogdanovich gives them a splash. That's what I see. I see it. Golden State missed out on a nice player, 3-point shooter, gets rebounds, plays decent defense. He's pretty good. But I still think that Golden State is in the run in the heat to grab somebody else. There's some players out there. They don't need much. They like a piece away. They lost a major piece in Thompson, but they're about one piece away. They got that big boy Weiss to play the center. They still got Draymond. They still got, a couple of players over there, and they got Steph, and they got Wiggins.
Yeah, they're gonna do some good. They're gonna do
You
some
know
work.
what I mean? They're about a piece away, man, because they loading up over there, so they're about a good piece away. And listen, I don't care how many big men you got, unless they can come out and guard the three, you're gonna have to contend with Golden State.
Ain't that the truth? All right, Talon, when you hear that Brandon Ingram, he agreed to a 5-year extension with the Pelicans, and now here's the thing. Brandon Ingram was a free agent. He could have gone anywhere, but he went to a 5-year extension with the Pelicans. So he must see something and wanting to be with the Pelicans that they have a bright future and they could turn around the corner, because he could have gone to any team. He was an unrestricted free agent. You know, he's still enough. He could have gone to any team. He could have took less money. He could have gone to, he could have gone to Golden State. That would have been scary. He could have gone just about anywhere that he chose to, but he decided to stick with the Pelicans. When you hear that Brandon Ingram said, you know what, my future is here, I'm going to stick this 5-year contract. What's your thoughts when you hear this dude that did that?
He's privy to some information. He knows the direction they're going in, and the direction they're going in is his direction. You ever need a ride somewhere? They're going in your direction? Yeah, let me jump in this car. He knows some information that they're going in the direction that he want to go in. And he's like, why? It ain't broke, don't fix it. Y'all going that way? I want to go that way. I'm gonna sign this extension 5 years. And I'm correct. It's the biggest contract for for an extension. I think he's the youngest guy to get something like that.
Got to get the biggest extension like that for ever. So he did pretty good. Now, Fig, when you hear that, what's your thought process? Do you think he did that for the money? Because the money is a lot of money for a guy that young. Or do you say, he just said, no, I see the future here. I'm gonna stay here, because they do have some young studs on that team. They could do some damage. They're 2 pieces away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. They can make some noise, man. They got Zion.
Mm-hmm.
They got one of the Ball brothers down there, and they paying him, you know what I mean, to be that dude, man. The thing is that I think what they told him, Ingram, is his thing was, listen, they always said you need to put some weight on.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, listen, where's the best place for you to go, make a lot of money and put some weight on? New Orleans, baby. I mean, with the amount of money that they paid him, that's a lot of gumbo, baby. You know what I mean? That's a lot of crawfish down there with that money they gave Ingram. Now the only problem is Brandon Ingram is going to eat. Now we got to keep Zion from eating. Now that's the problem. That's what we need to get out of there. We need to get Zion out of there, because we don't need him eating down there in New Orleans.
Yeah, y'all switch. You don't eat and let him eat. Whatever the plate is.
Let him eat your food. As a matter of fact, Zion, when you get your plate, you give it to Ingram. And Ingram, you give your plate to Zion and see if we can switch you guys out.
Right. Here's another thing. Jeremy Grant from the Denver Nuggets ended up signing with the Pistons. You know what I mean? Now,
man.
If we remember how Jeremy Grant played with the Denver Nuggets, he was an integral piece in making the Denver Nuggets make that move. But he ended up signing somewhere else. So the question to you is, Talent, it sounds like they got pretty weaker. And I don't think they're going to get as far, because you take one good piece out of, how when you're making something, you take one good piece out, it ain't going to be the same. So I don't think that the Denver Nuggets are going to be the team that we think they were about to be, because they just lost that one key role player. But what's your thought?
I don't think so, man. Just judging by watching them through the bubble, they was one of those teams that played 7-8 deep. And when you get those teams that played, one thing I've noticed over the last decade, the winners, they're able to go 7-8 deep. For a very long time, growing up watching the NBA, most teams were 6-7 deep. They didn't go that deep in the bench. Even when OKC had Harden, it wasn't 2 or 3 guys coming off the bench. It was pretty much him. When you go to those type of teams, you're like, they're not going that deep in the bench. I think the last championships, from the Lakers to Golden State, they've all been deep. And I think that, Denver's deep, man. One piece ain't going to shut them down. They deep. They play 8 players.
I can't disagree with you, but Fig, I'll throw it out there to you and say this. Like what Talent said, you lose him, now you ain't 8 deep no more. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, he was an integral part of their run that they made. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with what Talent said, because they are deep. But I think if you take something out the sauce, it's like when you're making something. Here's my analogy. It's like when you're making something and you don't add no salt to it, it don't taste the same. It's not the same.
Right.
But if you're able to go to the store and get more salt, it goes back to the same. This is my point.
But
you got other players. No, but you got other players that may not have cracked that threshold of the 8. So when somebody comes out, it's like an injury. When somebody comes out, now that player gets to play. It's not that he wasn't good enough. This guy was just beat you to it. So he's 8. And if we need you, we'll call you. But right now he's 8. So you remove 8, that guy gets the call up.
Okay, actually, great point. Great point. Fig, your thought. Great point.
My problem is that, you know, we don't know the team, the makeup of the team. So we don't know who that next guy is going to be to step up. But Grant would, like you said, he balled out.
Mm-hmm.
Like really, like he did his thing. Defense, offense. He was
one of the surprising players.
He was a Swiss Army knife, man.
Right. Yeah.
He's Swiss Army. He did everything, and I was like, he's long. He's not big, but he's long, and he bothers you on defense. You know what I mean? Because he's really mobile. So I mean, maybe good for Detroit, but I sure like to see who they can put in to fill in for this guy, because I don't know who else they have on their team, or maybe they're going to go out and try and grab somebody else. You know who it reminds me of? Trevor Ariza a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Ariza was like that, you know. I don't know, man. I think it's a loss for Denver's team, and they may miss him more than they think by letting him go.
And that was my point. And that was my point exactly. Last question before I bring in Rodney Perry. Drew Holiday, you know, we talked about him landing in Milwaukee. We talked about Giannis staying and everything else. Now I want to ask you both, with the addition of Drew Holiday, right, to the Milwaukee Bucks, do you think the Milwaukee Bucks added a piece that's going to make them at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals or possibly play against the Brooklyn Nets, or what do you think when you hear Drew Holiday lands on the Milwaukee Bucks? I will say this. I don't think they're going to get better. I think they're going to be the same. I'm going to go out there on the limb and say they're going to be the same, because they lost some pieces too, some key pieces. You know how we were just talking about pieces coming out. They lost a couple of key pieces. So talent, what do you think the Milwaukee Bucks end up being in the Eastern Conference Finals? Now you got to remember now, Philly got better. You know,
yeah, but I don't think that Milwaukee had to get better. I think they just had to do better. They had the team.
Good point.
They just dropped the ball at the wrong time. They had the team. It ain't no different than the Clippers. Like, these are teams that don't need to get better. They just need to do better. You know what I mean? Cohesiveness. They need to play better at the right moments in time of the big games. They were right where they needed to be. It's just in the 9th inning, they just dropped the ball and didn't execute and finish it out. They got beat out. But I don't think they needed to get better. You know what I mean? And that's just my opinion on Milwaukee. So, you know, Drew Holiday's a solid player. Can't take nothing from him. Solid, all-around, consistent player. I don't think they lost this. I agree with you. I don't think they got better or worse. They just right where they were. But to their testament, they didn't have to get better. They just got to do better. They got to execute.
Big.
I like teams. The teams that win are the teams that can play several different ways. You can't be a one-trick pony and win in the NBA, because the coaches and the teams are smart enough in the playoffs and in the finals to be able to figure out what you do and take that away from you. The good coaches are anyway. And if you make it that far, the coaches on the other team, they're going to take that away from you. And that's what they did to Milwaukee for the past 2 or 3 seasons. They found out what they did well. They took that away, and they were able to stop Milwaukee. Here's the thing with Milwaukee. Giannis can't shoot. Build the wall and block him from going into the paint, and you can stop him. And Milwaukee doesn't have a second gear or a third gear that they could go to and play differently to counteract what teams are trying to do. It's the same thing in his early years that they did to LeBron. They said, pack the paint and dare him to shoot, because he's not going to be able to beat you from the outside. He's going to be able to beat you driving to the hole. And unless Giannis could do like LeBron did and develop an outside shot, then teams are going to be able to beat them all the time. And I don't think that Holiday gets them over the hump.
All right, with that being said, let's get ready to bring in my man Rodney Perry with I agree. I disagree. Rodney, what's going on?
Sorry, I think somebody mentioned the Clippers. My Clippers still.
You got them damn Clippers out.
You guys love to mention the Clippers. They just don't work. before we get into anything, we have to shout out the great Diego Maradona. The world has been shook. Everybody from Usain Bolt to the great Pele commenting. I don't know if y'all know what happened. This guy had brain surgery. He had brain surgery like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, I didn't know.
He had some complications due to that, and which ultimately brought along his demise. He also struggled with drug addiction, alcohol abuse, and a ton of other health issues. And he had a blood clot. They went in to relieve that, and he met his demise maybe a couple of weeks later. The best quote I read about Maradona is he was a Argentine superstar and a soccer legend, but legends never die. Rest in peace, Mr. Maradona. All right, Tampa, look, how about this? It's still the first year, right? So before everybody get crazy, it's their first year playing together. That matters. That means something. They've only played together 1 year. They don't have chemistry yet. Even though they do have a lot of great pieces, this is their first year playing together. You got Mike Evans, who played in a totally different system last year. You got Brady, who played a totally different system last year. I tell you what, Bruce Arians need to shut his mouth. Shut your pie hole, Bruce Arians. You messed this team up. Man, I'm telling you, this team is a good team, and you keep talking trash. You can't pull a marquee player on the carpet. And I hear what y'all saying. Yeah, the coach had a right to do that. But look, here's my analogy. You want to hear an analogy? It's like arguing with your wife, right? You can win the argument, but if you win the argument and she's still not happy, then you didn't win no argument.
That's true. That's true.
You still lose.
That's true.
Lose. Ain't no fun laying in the bed and she got all the cover on her side.
Talent don't know nothing about this argument, Rodney. You need another analogy specifically for talent.
Okay, you at your side chick house.
That's his only chick. He ain't married. He ain't a side chick.
No. When you talent, everybody's a side chick. You're at your side chick house. And your other side chick call, and they both want your time at the same time. You can't do it. All right, that's a side point.
Roddy can't hear you, bro.
I'm in different places.
Okay, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Let's cover the analogy count for the day is up to 5. Rodney Perry came with 1. I said arguing with my wife. Let's go. Talent pulled 1 out his ass early in the show about his son and publicly flogging his son as if he was Tom Brady. Yeah, I whoop my son. Oh, but when I do it in public, you never do it again. The best analogy of the day, I don't know if Frank tried to throw one in there, but the best analogy of the day was Talent's analogy about taking a ride and the ride just happened to be going your way. You take that ride. Well said, Talent. Always a pleasure to hear. Okay, how about this? Derrick Rose. Who brought up Derrick Rose?
Frank!
Derrick freaking Rose. I'm a Chicago fan. You know we call Derrick Rose in Chicago? Mr. Glass.
Uh-oh.
Okay. He is absolutely the most fragile player in NBA history. Now, what they need to do is take Derrick Rose and send him over there to Brooklyn and put him and Kyrie in the same backcourt so they can be the most fragile backcourt of all time. They'll be the first 2 players to get hurt at the same time. They'll get hurt together.
Bump into each other, hurt each other.
They'll bump into each other. They both go down for the season.
Yeah. They be done.
Y'all covered Rose maybe going to the Lakers. How about this? And Fig, I think it's the opposite of what you said. I think Schroeder goes 6-man.
Yeah.
Because he's already been a 6-man. He's comfortable coming in there and playing. He was 6-man of the year, if I'm not mistaken. This dude is dope coming off the bench and playing with that second unit. And who's in that second unit? If he goes LA, that's AD, that's Schroeder. You know, that in itself is a crazy combination, right? And he gonna get some burn with the first unit too. And you take Derrick Rose off the ball. LeBron is holding the ball. Then you got Derrick Rose free to do Derrick Rose stuff, just jump and dunk. It could be actually a really dope combination, but that's not ever gonna happen. The Hawks is trying their best to look less hawkish. But I don't care what they do, they steal the Hawks. Some teams will steal the team. I mean, we can talk about it. Is the Bucks gonna be this and this? You steal the Bucks. Mm-hmm. Your team live in Milwaukee. It ain't no you Atlanta. It's too much other stuff to do in Atlanta.
Right.
It's too much fun. Atlanta fun. And these, you know Atlanta doing right now? They doing something fun. Okay? Atlanta people, that's why you can't make them stay in the house for COVID. You think that they're gonna get all these players and be worth for them? No, because the players gonna come in and have some fun. Talked about Denver. They lose an integral part of their team, but how about this? I already thought Denver was horrible. Ooh. I said it, Fig, and I say it again. They was lucky in the bubble, and if they might get lucky again, but they ain't gonna get lucky no more. Because guess what? Golden State coming back. Guess what? Portland gonna be a beast. Guess what? The Lakers is still in their division. I don't give a damn what Denver does. And they can't barely breathe outside of Denver. The highlight of the show for me today was again my box seat cohorts. Boy, it never ceases to amaze me what tangent we go on. Frank says, well, why don't we put some salt in it? Tally goes, salt? Well, if you got to put some salt, what if you run out of salt? Then you got to get some more salt. And then Fig say something about gumbo. And then we got salt, we got gumbo. You know what I think it is? Y'all hungry. That's what it is. It's Thanksgiving and y'all hungry. Just admit it. We all want to go upstairs and eat some dressing, but we got to get through this show. And that's just what it is. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. God bless you guys, gentlemen. I said, what are they cooking? Who's making the mac and cheese?
You can start spelling it right about now. That's the worst part. You can spell it and you can't eat it.
Oh my God. Boy, y'all got to argue about salt. You know, if you don't put no salt in it, you might run out of salt. I'm sitting over here going, what? They hungry. That's all they come with. These guys, my friends, are all starving.
Listen, Rodney Perry, that is not a secret. That's not a secret.
Man, hey, I love y'all, man. I am thankful to call you all friends. And
yes, sir.
I'm thankful that y'all let me come on here and talk some junk every day.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. Now we got to move the show along. My man, Comedy Fig. Fig, can you hit us with the top dogs? And so we can jump into these picks, too. We got to do top dogs
of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Let me turn the page and give you the top dogs. If you're ready to hear, let me hear you bark out there for the top dogs. Ladies and gentlemen, I got the number one top dog. I got to give it to my man, Patrick Mahomes. Ladies and gentlemen, doing the damn thing over the Las Vegas Raiders, man, in a shootout. He throws for 348 yards, 2 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes is just Patrick Mahomes. You understand what I'm saying? He's a top dog. He's out there doing his thing. He's a dog. Number 2 on my list, man, I got to give it to my man, Travis Kelce. I mean, Travis Kelce was doing the damn thing. He had 8 receptions, 128 yards, and he caught the go-ahead winning. He caught the go-ahead TD to win the game. Travis Kelce, he was out there doing the damn thing. He was a man amongst boys in that game. Number 3 on my top dog list, ladies and gentlemen, do you remember the Titans? Do you remember the Titans, ladies and gentlemen? Give it to my man, Derrick Henry, for remembering the Titans. 28 carries for 133 yards, 1 touchdown. Titans over the Baltimore Ravens, smash mouth, old school football.
Yeah.
Come on, ladies and gentlemen. And back in the top dogs once again, I got to give it to Ciara. Oh, I ain't mean Ciara. I mean Russell Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. Russell Wilson was doing the damn thing, throwing 197 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not one receiver with over 100 yards in the catch. So that means he was distributing the ball all over the field, getting everybody involved, putting the Seahawks on his back and carrying him to a win over the Lilliputian and the Cardinals over there, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, he did. The Lilliputian, Kyler Murray. He's only a Lilliputian in the football area. But ladies and gentlemen, number 5,
how you know?
I got to give it to my man, the top dog of the week. I got to give it to Phillip, which is kind of strange to have a quarterback named Phillip. Phillip Rivers, ladies and gentlemen, of the Indianapolis Colts, beating down the Green Bay Packers for 34-31 over Aaron Rodgers. I got to give it to Phillip Rivers because nobody thought that the Colts was going to do anything.
I did. I did it.
He threw for 288 yards and 3 touchdowns. I got to give it to Phillip Rivers because there's a lot of people that didn't see Phil coming. It's like, hey, Phil, what's all this touchdown, man? What's going on, Phil? What you doing, man? Phillip Rivers in the top dogs. That's 5, ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2, 3, 4,
I like that.
5 top
I like that.
dogs.
I like that list, Vic. I like that list, Vic. I would even say the best top dog of the top dogs had to be Derrick Henry with that bust-out move in overtime. That was the top dog of top dogs, if you ask me. That was it. Let's go ahead and jump and run through these picks real fast because we got to do what we got to do. Tomorrow, Houston is playing Detroit and Washington is playing Dallas. Let's start with Houston playing Detroit. Fig, who you got?
You said Houston over Detroit?
Yeah.
Who's at home? Detroit? Detroit usually plays at home on
Houston's at Detroit. Houston's at Detroit.
God dog it. Give me Detroit. I'm gonna go with Detroit because Detroit is at home. They got that home cooking. That turkey's gonna be
okay. All right, you got Detroit. Town, who you got?
Look, this got to go quicker, Fig. Stop looking at the McDonald's menu.
Right, you gotta go fast.
Yeah.
You gotta go fast.
I'm gonna take the Texans.
Okay, you got Texans. Rodney, who you got?
I got Houston. Let's go.
I got Houston. Washington playing Dallas. Fig, who you got?
I'm gonna go with Dallas, man. I don't want to, but I'm going with Dallas.
Who you got?
I'm gonna go with Washington.
All right, Rodney, who you got?
Washington.
I'm going with Dallas. Miami is playing the Jets. Does anybody got the Jets? Anybody got the Jets?
Every time you say that, the team lose. Just call out the teams, Frank.
Okay, so who you got, Rodney? Who you got?
I don't know. What's the 2 teams?
I said again, Miami is at the Jets. Hey, who you got?
I got Miami.
All right, that's what I thought. Everybody got Miami. Arizona is playing at New England.
Wait, Taylor, you got Miami?
Yeah, I got Miami. Miami playing. I don't care who anybody playing the Jets. With it. The Patriots are playing Arizona Cardinals at home. I got the Patriots. Fig, who you got? Kyler Murray's hurt. Let me just throw this out there. Kyler Murray's hurt. No, he ain't.
I'm going with Arizona. Damn that. I know.
Yeah, that's a smart play. Talent, who you got?
Patriots.
All right, Rodney, who you got?
Man,
do we got
Kyler Murray is hurt?
He's hurt. He ain't 100%.
Man, every time I bet with the Patriots, they lose. I'm gonna say Patriots.
Carolina is playing.
Wait, who you got, Frank?
Come on.
Patriots. Okay.
Carolina is playing at Minnesota.
Did you feel Frank look through your soul just then?
Yeah. felt like I felt like I was in Ghost 2.
Carolina is playing against Milwaukee. I mean Minnesota. Carolina, Minnesota. Who you got?
Minnesota.
Talent got Minnesota. Who you got, Fig?
I'm going with the Vikings. I think they bounce back.
I'm going with the Vikings too. Rodney, who you got?
I'll take Carolina because y'all picked them.
Okay. Cleveland Browns playing at Jacksonville. Jacksonville got a substitute quarterback this week. I'm going with the Cleveland Browns. Rodney, who you got?
I'd never bet with the Browns, but I'm gonna stick with you on this one, Frank.
All right, Tal, who you got?
Browns.
I got the Browns. I think they find a way to win.
Okay. Let's see. Tennessee is playing the Indianapolis Colts. That is going to be a really good game.
Ooh, man.
Rodney Perry, who you got? Tennessee at Indianapolis.
Tennessee.
Okay. I'm going to go with, I got Indianapolis. Talon, who you got?
Indianapolis not going to win 2
Titans,
weeks in a row.
Okay.
Write that down.
Titans.
I got the Titans. Big, who you got?
You gonna remember the Titans?
No, I said I got the Colts. I got the Colts. I'm sorry.
Who you got? The Colts?
I got the Colts. Who you got, Fig?
I got the Titans.
Okay. The Giants are playing the Cincinnati Bengals. Giants are playing Cincinnati Bengals. Fig, who you got?
I got the Giants.
Okay. Talon, who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Giants.
Okay. Rodney.
It's tough to pick the Dookie Bowl, but I'm gonna take Cincinnati.
Remember now, before you can stick with that pick, remember their quarterback got hurt. Remember, they got another quarterback, Joe Burrow.
All right, Giants. It don't matter. It's horrible. Giants.
Yeah, I would go with the Giants. LA Chargers are playing at Buffalo. I'm going, that's another good game.
Buffalo.
I'm gonna root for LA because that's my boy Justin Herbert. I'm going with Justin Herbert against Buffalo. He probably won't win, but I'm going
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Who you got?
Yeah, man. I like Herbert, but I'm going with Buffalo.
Okay. The Raiders are playing Atlanta Hawks. The Raiders against Atlanta. I got the Raiders.
Right. I got the Raiders.
Raiders.
If they play the Hawks, they definitely gonna win. It's the Falcons.
Okay. San Francisco.
Wait, what'd you say, Rodney? You got Atlanta?
No, I'm saying the team is not the Hawks, it's the Falcons.
Oh,
that's what I meant. That's what I meant. But it should be the Hawks playing in the Falcons.
What's the team? What's the matchup?
It was
Raiders.
Raiders against the Atlanta.
I got the Falcons.
Okay. San Francisco is playing LA Rams. San Francisco playing LA Rams. I'm gonna take the LA Rams because they just balled out. So, Fig, who you got?
Rams.
Rodney?
I'm gonna take the 49ers.
Okay, all right. That's an L.
They ain't got no more Jimmy G.
That's an L for you, bro. That's an L for you.
All right, fuck it. Well, give me the other team then.
He's so easy. He's so easy. Rodney Perry, New Orleans Saints is playing against the Denver Broncos. Rodney Perry, you up first. Who you got?
New Orleans versus who?
New Orleans playing against Denver Broncos.
New Orleans.
I got the Saints. Talent, who you got?
Saints.
Yeah, cool. The Chiefs are playing Tampa Bay. I got the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a good game. I got the Chiefs. I just can't see Tom Brady and his boys beating them. I can't see it. But it could be a preview of the Super Bowl too. You just never know. Rodney Perry, who you got?
I'm taking Tampa on that.
You taking Tampa?
I'm taking Tampa.
Okay, and who you got, Vic?
Now I'm going with Kansas City, man.
Yeah, the Bears are playing the Green Bay Packers. Huge conference game they've been doing.
Oh my God, where's that? Is that tomorrow?
That's Sunday. Sunday night, 8:00 game. The Bears are playing against Green Bay. I'm going with Green Bay. Rodney Perry, who you got? The Bears.
Man, that Aaron Rodgers has put his foot in our ass so many times. But yeah. I gotta stay with my Bears on this.
Okay, Talon, who you got?
Stay with them bum ass Bears. I got Green Bay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jet.
Who you got?
Yeah.
J-E-T-S.
Green Bay, man. Green Bay need to come back.
The last 2 more games. Let's see. Seattle's playing at Philly. Does anybody got Philly?
Seattle. I got Seattle.
Anybody got Philly?
I got Seattle.
I ain't thinking about it. And the game that got moved from yesterday to Sunday is Baltimore at Pittsburgh. I'm taking Pittsburgh all day, even though Baltimore really needs to win real bad to stay in the playoff hunt. I'm gonna take Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh gonna smash them. I think they spiraling out of control. Rodney Perry, who you got? Last game.
I'll take the Ravens.
I'm gonna take the Ravens too.
Okay, and Fig, who you got?
I'm going with Big Ben because the Ravens are missing their 2 running backs.
Yep, they're missing almost half the team because of COVID. So I don't see them winning anytime soon. Anyway, that's the show. I got to thank everybody for watching.
Already?
Yeah, we had to get it in there. You got to get it in there. I got to thank Rodney Perry for I Disagree. I got to thank Talent. I got to thank Fig. First of all, before you give everybody there how to follow you all, we all want to wish all y'all a happy Thanksgiving. Tell everybody, Talent. Tell everybody out there how to follow you.
Hey, when you don't find me on Box Seats at 1 o'clock, you can find me on Twitter at It's Just Comedy, Instagram Talent the Comedian, and Facebook King Talent Harris. For 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday, this is where your boy be.
That's right. That's right, Fig.
You can find me too here on the Box Seats, baby. Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. But any other time you can see your boy comedian Fig on all social media platforms. That's where I'm gonna be hanging out with that dude and the other dudes.
There you go, Rodney. I agree follow you. And I know y'all got something this weekend too. So
I'm easy to find. RodneyPerry.com is the website. Rodney Perry Live on social media. I just got a call. Mark Curry is not gonna make it to the Atlanta Comedy Theater this weekend, so I'll be filling in for him, doing a few sets this weekend and making some Christmas money.
Is he okay? Is he okay?
Yeah, but LA shut down, so they can't fly out without like 14 days quarantine or some shit.
Oh, okay. All right. Just making sure my man's okay. Anyway, that's it for our show. Y'all know when we on now. Y'all know this is the show called The Box Seats. Happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you all. If y'all ain't got to travel, please don't. You know, of course, spend the time with your family if you have to and everything else. Fig, Talent, Rodney Perry. Are y'all perform? Rodney said he's performing in Atlanta. Talent, you anywhere this weekend? Fig, you guys anywhere?
Yeah, actually, I'm in Brooklyn tonight. We got a show in Brooklyn tonight at 7:30, Tropical Paradise Ballroom. So you know it's going to be social distance. Got to wear your mask, all that good stuff. It's the last laugh before Thanksgiving. And then Saturday, I'm doing something in my hometown right here in Money Earning Mount Vernon, you know, private event. But we right back at it, man. Before the lockdown, we're going to get the laugh at.
There it is. There, Fig. You hitting someplace or you in the house this weekend?
No, I'm gonna be in the kitchen, sampling the cooking. Just make sure that everything is all right. Yeah, and just taste test it, man. Frank, make sure you tell them we not here tomorrow and Friday.
Thank you for telling me. I'm about to. Thank you for telling me. Y'all heard the man. We ain't going to be here. Of course, we're not going to be here Thursday. We're not going to be here Friday. We'll be back next Monday. Appreciate that. We here every Monday through Friday from 1 to 2. This is a show called The Box Seats. And I will see y'all. We, of course, are on the channel called The Humor Mill. Make sure you download the app. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You can call your cable service provider, of course, to even see if they can get to add this channel. Until then, now, because of Thanksgiving, we'll see y'all Monday. But until then, y'all take it easy. Have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll see y'all Monday.